Let's start in East Lansing. I'm wearing the Spartan Dog shirt. I am a Michigan State graduate, so this is already a home game for me. One thing I'm not familiar with in Michigan State and East Lansing, though, losing home games. That doesn't happen too much, especially a guy scoring 32 points in a road win at the Breslin Center. That has never happened until today when Zach Edey did just that. 32 points, 17 rebounds. Fletcher Lawyer, Foster Lawyer, former Spartans brother, was phenomenal tonight. And Tyson Walker, in his own right, 30 points from him, a ton of them in the second half. This was not your typical Big Ten grind of a game in the final 4 minutes of this. This was haymaker after haymaker. Ultimately, Purdue gets the win, and now they get some separation at the top of that conference. So, Pat, let's go to you first. I mean, does this result shock you? It shouldn't, I don't think, because I think Purdue feels like the best team in the conference, right?
Well, the first thing I have to say to address the last 49 seconds of the game took forever. Goodness gracious. Can we figure out a way to speed things up? Like I was about to fall asleep on the couch and I'm like, I gotta stay locked in to see what happens here. But throughout this season so far, some marquee bigs that have had some great games against Michigan State, a team that is very, very tough. But if you're a big guy, I'd be chomping at the bit because Oscar Tshiebwe, 22-18, Drew Timme, 22-13, Dane Danger. What best name in college basketball right now, by the way. Mm-hmm. He went for 20-7. And it was clear that Zach Edey was going to have a phenomenal game, and he really should have had 30 points in the first half. There is no answer for someone that massive of his size. I'm not surprised at all, man. The Big Ten, this is my first time really getting a chance to study this league. There's so much parity in this league. Oh my goodness. It's so confusing to me. I thought that Michigan State played a fantastic game after going 0 for from the three-point line against Illinois. Good to see that they could knock some three-pointers down. You have to be able to shoot the three ball, at least knock 5 down if you want to win to stay competitive. But overall, man, Fletcher Lawyer, phenomenal. He does not look like a freshman. He does not one bit. And for them to come away with a grit win like this is a quad 1 victory for them to continue to fight for their case to be a number 1 seed going into the tournament.
I can tell you there's a lot of Big Ten fans out there that are just terrified of the prospects of a Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer backcourt for the next 4 years. Not to say that they're necessarily both going to be there all 4 years, but I think there's a distinct possibility they could, and they are so good already. Matt, I want to ask you this because I've watched every Michigan State game this year, and the way they've defended post threats in this conference has differed game to game. I mean, you have to go up against the best. You got to go up against Trace Jackson Davis, Hunter Dickinson. Now you see Zach Edey. But as PY mentioned, like it's not necessarily just the national superstars that have had success on this front court that consists of Mady Sissoko, Jackson Kohler, and Carson Cooper. Those guys are just undersized, not guys that have ever really played big minute roles until this season, which Sissoko has blossomed into. But man, a lot of teams are having their way with them. Against Michigan a couple weeks ago, they doubled Hunter Dickinson in a variety of ways, really threw him off his game, were able to stay to close out on shooters and make other guys beat you. Their shooters miss shots. I expected to see that today against a Purdue team that's ranked in the 250s nationally from three-point percentage shooting. That's not what we saw in the first half. They dared Zach Edey to beat them. And it ultimately did keep them in the game, but it felt like Edey left a lot of points out there. What did you make of that strategy to not double Edey early?
Well, think about, too, the last possession of the game, right? They run a dribble handoff action in Purdue. The previous possession, Tyson Walker, and this is a lesson for all point guards out there, right? Tyson Walker drives in the lane, and a lot of young point guards, a lot of point guards in college basketball would have forced something up at the basket. He drives in the lane and he keeps his dribble alive and he dribbles out. Instead of taking a bad shot, he gets himself a good shot. Then the very next possession, Purdue runs a dribble handoff. Trey Holman switches onto the ball handler and he doesn't affect the pass. He's kind of like his hands are down and the ball goes into the post. And I thought what Edey did, because you think in that situation with the game that he has up to that point, here comes the double. It's coming. They're not going to let him just. But Edey caught it, and his move was so quick.
Yeah.
There was no time to double. He caught it and he went. And I thought that was such an impressive play by Edey. I mean, 32-17. What a game. But that last possession, they knew where they wanted to go to. They run just a simple dribble handoff. They're setting a pin down on the opposite side of the floor to have some movement, but it was a very simple play. But Edey's move was so quick, there was no way anybody could double him, and just a fantastic way to end that game.
Yeah, he's clearly the National Player of the Year frontrunner for a reason right now. You saw that tonight, all the production and the big shot when it mattered most. The one other thing we should just mention, then we're going to move to a different game. No Malik Hall for Michigan State today. There were questions about his availability. He's in a walking boot right now. The rumors are that this could be a long-term injury. He has not necessarily been ruled out specifically for the end of the season yet. There is no verbal on what the injury is. But did not see him today after injuring that in the Illinois game just a couple short days ago. Let's move to